I've got to draw attention to all of our lost fanatics. God knows the overwhelming majority of our audience is right in there with us.
Absolutely.
Have been from day one, because we have basically the architects of this show on our program right now, the executive producers. Please welcome them to our program. Damon Lindelof and Carlton Cuse to the show this morning. Gentlemen, good morning. How are you guys?
We're awesome. How are you guys?
We're good. First of all, I gotta call you guys sons of bitches because
in honor.
Yeah, in honor, and the reason being is because we had fun. Now we every single week since day one of this show,
even before,
we have dedicated a portion of our Thursday broadcast to recap the program the night before. This is from the very first episode, and it's become a really big part of our show. And right after we have finally shaken that whole purgatory theory, you had to have the Italian chick say that everybody on the flight died on 8:15, and now everybody's emailing back in. You see, we told you it's purgatory.
Now you're still right. It is not purgatory.
Thank you. You've heard this from the very men who created this show. It is not purgatory. So
we swear.
You do swear on
that would be sort of a very flaccid way to go about it if it just turned out to be, sort of a heaven can wait sort of thing. By the way, I appreciate the fact that you've skipped up the information disseminating, and the show's just been on fire. Has the 10 o'clock slot, obviously it's impacted the ratings just a bit, but do you guys feel good? Because it seems you're getting a little more latitude to be a little more provocative with what's being shown.
I think the 10 o'clock slot has led to a lot more people T-voting the show, and so I think there's a big debate next year about whether the show will be on at 8, 9, possibly instead of 10. But we've been telling the stories the best way in which we know how,
right?
And that's kind of always been our goal. We obviously do have more latitude at 10 o'clock. You can do things at 10 o'clock that you can't do when the show is on at 8.
It's like Kate and Sawyer can get to second base.
Yes. That's what immediately came to mind.
Thank you for the pulling up the pants portion. That was
You're very welcome. That was just for you guys.
Now, if we can just see Hurley getting a Brazilian wax, that would be awesome.
That's an entire story arc.
Hey, as a complete geek for this show and a Star Wars geek, I wanted to thank you for all the Star Wars references you guys have littered in over the last few years, Sawyer especially. Is that, I'm sure it's designed on purpose, but is it something that you guys do, or is it a few of the other writers of the show do?
Star Wars is big with all the writers and the staff. It's something that we talk about often, and that the characters do as well. And Sawyer's been sort of dropping Star Wars references from the very beginning, and Hurley too. So it's especially when we rip off stuff from the movies, it feels like it's only our due diligence to give it a shout out at the same time.
Yeah, if you reference it, it goes from being a ripoff to an homage.
There you go. There's that fine line between tribute and just stealing it. But the truth of the matter is that the show is great, full of a lot of pop culture references, and I mean it's so saturated many times with things that we don't even see on initial viewing that get put in after the fact. How many people touch the script and infuse it? Well, for example, there'll be a picture on a desk of a character that was, 4 or 5 episodes ago. How much do you guys get together and sort of work on infusing that in each episode?
Well, Damon and I have a team of 8 writers who work for us, and then the 2 of us also, go through and write or rewrite on the scripts, and everyone contributes to that. So by the time there are that many hands and minds involved in the shaping of these stories, we end up with a lot of cool things embedded in them.
Love that.
How far ahead are you guys? I mean, are you done? Are you done this storyline, or are you just a few episodes ahead of us?
Well, we've written the entire season now, so we are literally editing the season finale, which is going to be 2 hours, and on the air 3 weeks from tonight. And basically, but we are now working with the writers. We finished writing that about 3 weeks ago into season 4 and beyond. Which is very exciting for us because the season finale sort of immediately sets up what the show is going to be next year.
Can you reveal if anyone will die before the end of this season?
Yes, they will.
Someone will die. Okay, I had a feeling somebody would. You know what? We have to ask whose idea it was to put our friend Rob McElhenney in one of the episodes. You guys familiar with Rob?
Yeah, we are. We love It's Always Sunny.
It's a great show.
And are obsessed with it. We can't wait for it to come back. And 2 writers in particular, Eddie Kitsis and Adam Horowitz, met Rob at a party and kind of approached him and said how much they loved the show. And then it turned out that he was a Lost fan, and he begged to be an other on the show, which we were happy to oblige. So if he wasn't shooting It's Always Sunny, we would have blown him up in the finale. He was unavailable, so we had to blow up somebody else.
And now there'll be an Easter egg in It's Always Sunny, because those guys are going to hopefully be in a bar scene in that show.
No kidding. That would be terrific.
Oh, that's cool. When you talk about Easter eggs, and Steve mentioned the picture on the desk, how many are completely deliberate, and how many do you throw in and think, kind of to throw people off? And specifically, I'm referring to the giant foot at the end of last year's episode, the season finale. What the hell was that?
Yeah.
And we never saw it again this year. Does it have any significance?
No, the giant foot has huge significance. Unfortunately, that will be a mystery that will frustrate you beyond the end of the season.
Cool.
It won't get resolved this year, but when it does get resolved, you'll see it was a sort of deeply laid clue that pays off enormously before the end of the series.
They will not find the missing toe.
All right, the missing toe. See, I love this because I've known it's a very rare show that can follow, a story. Obviously, you have a complete story you want to tell, whether it be 5 or 6 years or however long it runs. There was a little, I sensed even with hardcore fans this season, people getting very frustrated. But I always said it's sort of the middle act of the play. Is that the sense that you've always had? Is that you're dealing with this long sort of story that at some point would have a very confusing level to it?
Look, the show is hard. We don't make it easy on the viewers, and we appreciate them for hanging in. I mean, the degree of difficulty of this show versus sort of a CSI where you get sort of your dead body in the beginning and the murderer at the end.
Right.
We require sort of constant vigilance, and it's not easy. So, we appreciate hearing from our fans and try to respond to them when they're being disgruntled. But as you said, we actually think we're a little bit beyond the halfway point by the end of this season, just in terms of pure hours of the show that we've done. If the show is a mountain, we're probably coming down the other side now.
Oh.
So hopefully the show is in a little more of an answer modality as opposed to a question modality moving forward.
No, you're definitely you're keeping the facts coming fast and furiously, so we're happy about that.
Especially tonight, by the way.
Yeah,
tonight's big answers.
Wow, cool.
Yeah. You always like that. Just real quick, are Michael and Walt, are they gone?
They're not gone forever.
They're not.
Okay.
They will be back on the show.
You may be seeing one or both of them before season's end.
No. And in this level of puberty, Walt will have a bearded mustache.
Exactly.
But I want to see how that's going to be explained.
They can't have kids, but they skyrocket right through puberty. It's amazing.
Well, you guys have an amazing show, obviously, and we are at the level of fanaticism where at the premiere of the new seasons and at the end of each season we have a huge party. The last one we had was at a really great place in Philadelphia called the Trocadero. We had over 500 people show up for that event. In fact, we invited Daniel Roebuck out, who was Arst. He was our special guest. He came out and we had a huge party. So just to let you know, we're a little beyond your average
We're not
fans
your riffraff.
of this show.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you for hanging in.
We'll have to send you a piece of ours. We have some pieces.
Oh, dude, send us a piece of Arst. That would be great. All right, well,
who doesn't want a piece of ours?
Arst, you idiot.
All right, well, guys, thanks so much, and if we could in any way talk to you again next season, we would love to do that.
It would be our honor.
We would love to.
Outstanding. Thank you, guys. Damon Lindelof and Carlton Cuse, gang. Executive producers of Lost, and that is on tonight, of course, 6 ABC, if you want to check what you will.
There's so much you want to ask them that you end up like jumping around because I won't ask about that, I won't ask about that.
Right.
But you hear they had a nice calm tone, which suggests they know where they're going.
Yep.
So I'm happy about that.
Yep.
Yeah, they were great. Real quick, they're up on our call screener. Their names were up there, and next to it were all the numbers. Whoever's
Jeremy.
Jeremy.
Oh, Jeremy.
Nice.
Jeremy.
He can spell numbers.
I would like to take